All right, folks, I'm not going to have you suffer through that AI music as it pulses through your senses. There is TWIDWEAR. This is the Doug Rice Show, brought to you by right there. TWIDWEAR.com brings the Doug Rice Show in a new format today. Just so you know, we've got a guest on the show. That's right. Oh yeah, let's hear the applause. Let's do it all for the cause. How you doing, folks? Welcome to the Doug Rice Show. I'm here with a guest, just so you know, and it is awesome too. Okay, folks, welcome again. Today we have what I think is a friend. Jason Sanders is going to join us. Mr. Sanders is an RN, a registered nurse. He has a company called Healthcare with Jason LLC. Today, we'll be discussing the racial disparities in the healthcare industry. Now, Mr. Sanders has had over 20 years experience in the healthcare field as a registered nurse, and he's seen his share of nightmare scenarios play out in real time within the confines of the medical system and the field and staffs that get their hands on us. And when they do get a hold of us under these circumstances, it is best to be informed, to know what to do, what to ask, look for any pitfalls. And I got to tell you, this guy has seen it all. Here he is, Jason Sanders, on the air, first official interview there. OMG, I'm glad to see you, sir. Okay, welcome. Tell everybody, hello, sir.
Well, first of all, thank you, Doug Rice, for having me. My name is Jason Sanders. I've been a registered nurse, like you said, for 20 years. I've worked at the bedside. I've mainly done critical care nursing, and I've done also, administrative. So I'm here to give us what we need to know to navigate through the hospital to make sure that we can avoid some of these pitfalls.
Very, very, very good, sir. And I do appreciate your presence. I do. Do me a favor, folks, if you get a chance, please like, subscribe, share, do all the things you see right down there as we suggest to do so. And thank you for tuning into the show. Mr. Sanders, we had a chance to go over some vital information. And, there are some things that we need to look out for. I, for one, avoid hospitals, emergency rooms. I rarely go. It has to be a very rare circumstance of pain, and not just gentle nudging from my wife, but firm nudging from her. And when they get a hold of us, that's my problem. And I feel this in my bones, if I might, that it's in our best interest to stay informed and to understand what's going on around us. And so my first question, if you would, related as it relates to us, as it relates to the family, to the danger, how does the system work against Negroes, and why we need to look out for these types of things?
Right. In the hospital, it really doesn't work against us like that. We wouldn't even really see it. You have to kind of be in the know. In the hospital, there's a lot of things there's a lot of moving parts. So communication is, like in anything else, the biggest pitfall. Anyone that you come into as far as your providers, make sure that everyone's on the same page.
Very, very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Next thing, a lot of folks are on their mind. I try to get to the meat of it. I hear there are a lot of unexplained accidental deaths. And so this kind of causes me a lot of trepidation, even considering putting myself in the hands of another nation. And so is it through negligence? I mean, what is it that drives these numbers I hear about?
Well, anything that's an accidental death in a controlled facility would be considered negligence. And negligence is just purely the failure to provide the adequate care that a person's supposed to have. When you come into the hospitals, believe it or not, if you come in for chest pain, there's a chest pain protocol that they should be following.
Wow. Now, but and again, with the negligence as it pertains to Negroes, how do you find, is there a differentiation? I tend to think that you can't escape your proclivities, your attitudes,
right.
And so when I think of accidental deaths and what may happen, what I'm saying is folks go in, they don't come out, that kind of thing. We'll talk about that later. Moving on though, I just want to, how about informing folks on the process itself, the process of just going in and seeing a doctor? Well, tell me the things that you need to look for, what's going on.
When you go in to see your doctor, it's very important that you make sure that he's listening to you. A lot of times, most of us being, the Negro, when we go in, we don't even want to talk to you. First of all, we really don't know the things that you really want us to say. So we kind of tend to be quiet and we don't elaborate as much as we should. But if your doctor's not listening to you, if your doctor's not touching you, if your doctor doesn't look at your body or, even takes time to explain to you what's going on, those are terrible signs. And
Right. Yeah, and I don't trust doctors. One to an any, but should you trust your doctor? And depending on what factors? I mean, I'm sure there are telltale signs that indicate there might be a problem. Tell me a little bit about that.
so you really don't have a choice at that point when you're in the hospital. If you can trust them, you're really kind of hoping that they're going to take care of you. But the things that I just said, you want to make sure that they're at least acting like they're engaging with you. And if they don't, and if you do feel some type of way, they're human just like we are. You should ask them, uh, hey, are you okay with taking care of me? Have you have experience in taking care of people like me? I'm hurting. I don't mind. I don't try to come off a certain type of way, but I'm scared myself. So if you're scared, you're letting them know you're scared, because a lot of times they're not looking at us like that. They're not looking at us like we have those same type of feelings always.
Yeah, well, and just to elaborate on that, what kind of questions would you suggest be asked if you're in a situation? And to follow up, really, what signs might indicate that you might need to seek treatment elsewhere? I mean, there are signs, right?
Right. Yeah. If your pain's not being relieved, and you and or if it's taking a long time for the nurses and doctors to come into your room, if you keep telling them, hey, I have my specimen in here, if you had to take a urine collection or a stool collection and things are not moving fast enough, or if there's always an excuse talking about, oh, I'm sorry, we're shorthanded, then yeah, that would be clear indications that you should probably find somewhere else.
All right. Well, I do appreciate that answer. My goodness, man. I went on a Twitter, I guess it was a show or a live or something, and the conversation concerned the death hospitals that seem to be peppered throughout Negro communities. Can you tell me the validity of those claims? Where I don't even know what might be transpiring in these places, but are we warned against just going in for something and not coming out? I've heard those stories. Talk to me about that.
Well, absolutely. I understand what you're saying. When you say the word death hospital, it's like, yeah, most of those facilities kind of seem like they're mainly in underserved areas, poor economical, social status environments. So a lot of time, those places are going to be understaffed. Those places are probably going to be staffed with a bunch of new intern residents that are kind of learning at those facilities. And I won't just say that it's a death hospital because it's a bad hospital, but I think a lot of those other variables play a big part in their outcomes.
Okay, that sounds fair. Now, what I've heard, that we're treated differently, we're considered differently, pain tolerances are different. And now, I guess it kind of begs the question, since you hear this so often, now, are we physiologically different? Are there different expectations that physicians and medical care workers have when they're dealing with Negroes? And is that contributory to our feeling that different treatment?
I believe that we are different. Of course, we have this melanin, this neuromelanin on all our organs, and all that really kind of means it's a more protective type of sensory. So for us, I don't think that they use the science to uh, be that way with us, but I think their attitudes or our attitudes towards them, and a lot of times we take longer to get to the hospital. So of course we're more heightened, we're more hyped when we go in there, and again, just being nervous from not understanding their questions that they're asking kind of puts us in that situation with them.
Tell me this: is there a conspiracy regarding, in your mind, being in healthcare? The reason I ask it, the HELOC fiasco, to me, fuels the abduction of hundreds of thousands of Negro women, Black women in this country each year. And so, is there a conspiracy to either kill us, subjugate us in some way, or obtain from us something they feel is valuable?
As far as conspiracy, I feel like we have the history to kind of show things that would lead us to believe that way. You have the King Albert uh, things going on where they actually talk about it. They've had 400 years of using us as guinea pigs. You have Planned Parenthood with Margaret Sanger. They really need us. They really need to be able to study us and watch our behaviors and kind of see how our body works under certain situations. It's
Wow. So back to being in the presence of individuals, you have to be, in my opinion, on your mental guard at all times. You just do. Especially with putting your life in the hands of strangers. You have to look for the telltale signs. I've no proclivity toward just giving people the benefit of the doubt. So, do they pay attention when you pay attention in certain circumstances and within the hospital setting?
Oh, absolutely. They're paying attention to everything. They're paying attention to the Negro who is the nurse and the patient who's receiving the care. Whenever you start asking a lot of questions, and they're questions that are more specific and direct driven, then of course they're kind of wanting to know, why are you needing to know that? Or because most of the times we won't ask for any proof. We just kind of sit there and let them do what they need to do. So if we start asking questions, there's a problem.
What kind of questions should we? What should we ask for if there is a problem? What is it that we should do in the situation to protect ourselves and our medical health?
When you go into the hospital, or when that doctor's in front of you, or whenever you're talking to that nurse, you need to ask them, because you've already told them what you're there for and what hurts. You need to ask them, what's the plan. You need to ask them about the treatment. You need to ask them about how long it should take. You should be able to ask them any questions related to your care. And really, in the hospital, those nurses will write down 3 of the most important things that have priority on your bedside board to kind of help ease your anxiety related to things like that.
Very good, very good. Now, just kind of flipping gears a little bit, when you go to a doctor and when there is an emergency, those are 2 different, scenarios. In the event of an emergency when things are moving fast, you still have to be attentive to what's going on. In that respect, during an ER visit, when things are moving rather quickly, tell me what kind of shortcuts or what kind of guards you can do, questions you can ask to make sure you're being taken care of well.
Well, if it's a true emergency, things are going to move very fast, and honestly, you're not going to really be able to uh, think of the questions, because you're going to be so immense trying to get the solution. You're going to be wanting to get fixed or get better. But that nurse and that doctor should tell you, hey, you're going to the radiology department so we can get some pictures of that. Or when you come in, especially in the emergency rooms, they already have certain protocols. They're going to draw blood. They're going to go get x-rays. They're going to obtain your medical history and the type of medications that you're on. And then they're going to call the physician in once they have all that information and it is resulted, as long as you're not like about to die.
Fantastic. All right. Lastly, and just final, tell me a little bit about what very few of us know about, and that are your patient's rights in these scenarios, both just showing up at a doctor's office for a standard checkup or a visit, and then also your emergency room. Are there 2 separate rights, or are the rights that are applied to you universal?
They're all encompassing rights. They're the rights to dignity, respect. You have the right to make sure that your family's present and that you can have visitors there. You have right to informed consent. That means when the doctor comes and tells you what's going on and what he wants to do, especially if it's related to surgery or receiving blood. Some of the things that we do have to outweigh the the negative effects. So if you had to get blood, they want to make sure that you know the ins and out of what can happen if you receive blood.
Well, fantastic. I do appreciate your being here, Mr. Sanders. I do indeed. You have answered, quite a few questions during this short. We're just trying to do, a little few things, necessary to keep Negroes informed in various areas. The healthcare industry is very, very important. Again, I want to thank you for being here. Do you have anything to say in closing?
Oh, no, I appreciate you guys for having me, and I look forward to getting back on the show and we can chop it up some more.
All righty. Thanks so much. Well, folks, that is the show brought to you by TWIDWEAR. My name is, once again, Doug Rice. Thank you for showing up. You know the drill. You got to go to TWIDWEAR to get your fill of apparel, sportswear, all of the good Twid gear. Use TDRS and you can get dressed really nice to impress. I like that. 10% off using the TDRS promo code. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for much. Like, subscribe, and share with a gentle touch. Bye-bye.